Good morning, everyone. Welcome you all to the virtual school. Today we will be taking up the next topic, that is the scope rules. But before starting, let me tell you, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like the content, please share it as much as you can. It is really motivating for me, and it motivates me to put up new videos each and every day. Okay. So, in the earlier lecture, we have discussed already about the namespaces, and in this lecture, we will be discussing about the scope rules. Okay, now what are the scope rules and how they affect a particular execution of the program? Okay, we will be discussing all of that. Okay, so it's a very simple topic, and the lecture would be quite small also. What the scope rules basically means is up till what reach a particular variable or a particular function has. Okay, depending upon that, you would be writing the logic, you would be writing the programs. Okay, so just pay attention to the entire theory. Okay, so the scope is a region of a Python program where namespace is directly accessible. Okay, in the earlier lecture we have already discussed about the namespace. Okay, so suppose you have a namespace. Okay, then what is the reach of that namespace is defined by the scope. Okay, now whatever be the scope that you take, like suppose you have a scope within the class or within a function or somewhere else. Okay, so depending upon the reach of this scope, a particular variable would be accessible to the other functions or not. Okay, and depending upon that, the value of the variable will change. Let me just take a very simple example to make you understand what a scope basically is. Suppose you are a part of a class, like suppose you are in 6th grade right now. Okay, so in the 6th grade, you would be accessing all the exams and all the tests that would be happening in the 6th grade. You are not supposed to access the exams or all the practicals that is supposed to happen in the grade 12 or in the grade 2nd. Okay, so your scope is limited to grade 6th itself. Okay, so that's the maximum potential of your reach right now. Okay, so that is what scope is, to put in a simple terms. Okay, that is that is the amount of reach a particular variable or a particular function has is actually the scope, and there are certain rules that are defined upon that. Okay, now I hope the definition of the scope is quite clear to you. Okay, and also all those scopes are determined statically during the creation of the program, yet they are used dynamically during the execution of the program. Now what does this line means? Now this is a very important line. Why? Because even though you define a scope statically, that is you have written a program and all these scopes are defined statically, that is you have put a particular block and you have written certain code in it, then you have nested the block and you have written another code in it. Okay, so depending upon your logic, you have defined all the scopes statically. But when the function calls are made, okay, then the scope of certain variables are also defined. So they are also defined dynamically. Okay, not just statically but also dynamically. Okay, I hope this is quite clear. Okay, now there are 4 things to remember in context to the scope rules. Okay, now the coming up 4 points that I will be discussing, that these are something that you must remember always while defining a scope or while declaring a scope. Okay, like suppose all the variable types are treated in the same way in the Python. Okay, now why I'm saying this, because it doesn't matter whether you define an integer, whether you define a string, whether you define something else, an array or an object, all of the scopes are governed by similar rules. Okay, that is, suppose you have put a particular variable within a function, then its scope is limited to that function. Okay, be it any variable, that is be it any type of variable, be it a string, be it a integer, be it an object, be it an array, anything. Okay, so let's just take a simple example, that is the var 10 plus 5 is declared and print var statement is called. Okay, then we have defined a function var and we have provided a parameter y, and it returns y into 10. Okay, and then it prints var. Okay, this is quite a vague statement because the return statement is put up ahead of something that you are needed to print, because the print statement would never be executed anyways. That's not the point of the discussion of this particular example. What I want to tell you is, var is declared here, it is printed in the second line, then it is used within a function, then it is again assigned a particular value, then it is again printed. Okay, so the scope of all the three declaration, that is of all the three, the scope of all the three usage is different entirely. Why? When the first statement is executed, then 10 plus 5, that is 15, is the actual value that is printed. Now when the var is used within a definition, okay, then its scope is limited to that definition itself. That is, whatever the parameter of y would be provided, the print var statement would be executed accordingly. Okay, then var is assigned a value hello. Okay, and then the print is again called. So this time, instead of 15 or something else, the hello would be printed. So the scope depends upon where you have declared a particular variable in the program. Okay, so the first point that you need to take care of is all the type of variables are treated in the same manner when it comes to the scope. Okay, so I hope this is quite clear. Now coming over to the second point. The second point is the scope of the variable is its enclosing function or class or a file. Okay, now this I have been telling you since the starting of the lecture. Wherever you have defined a particular variable, its scope would be limited to that class or that function or that file wherever you have declared. Okay, like suppose you have three functions. Okay, in three functions you have declared a particular variable, say suppose x, and you have assigned a particular value. Suppose in the first you have assigned x as 10, in the second function you have assigned x as 20, in the third function x as 30. Okay, now the value of x, depending upon what function you are calling, the value of x would be changed accordingly, and it would be available within the scope of that function itself. Outside the function, that value won't be accessible. Okay, so the scope of a variable is its enclosing function or class or file. Okay, now this is again that the simple example that I have told just now is also shown in this particular example. This is very simple. Okay, just go through it. Let me go through it also. Like suppose a def test function is made and x is equals to 5, and print statement is called by the x. Okay, now they are modifying the program. The x is moved outside the function, that is x is equals to 10. Then a def function is called and you print x. Okay, then again a def function, that is you have defined a test function, and x is now assigned a value 5. Okay, then it is printing the value x. Okay, then again a function is declared marks, and a x is passed as a parameter and it is printed. Okay, now three invocations are made: first to the exam, second to the test, third to the marks with a parameter 20. Okay, so what would be the output? Output is, first of all, the first statement would be executed because the exam is called. Okay, because the print statement is called print x. Okay, the print x prints 10. Okay, then exam function is invoked. So as soon as you call the function exam, it would print again the value of x, because x is available globally to the entire program. Okay, so 10 prints. Then you invoke the test function. As soon as you invoke the test function, x gets assigned a value 5 and it prints the value 5. Okay, so that's how the scope is actually overriding the value of x 10 by the value of x 5. Okay, then you invocate a marks function and you supply the value 20. Now this time 20 would be printed. Why? Because the value x in the marks function would be limited to its scope only. So that's how you can see the value of x is determined by the scope and not by the definition. Okay, so this is the second point. Now coming over to the third point, names are only belonging to the namespaces where they are bound. Okay, now suppose you have 10 or 20 namespaces. Okay, now where you have declared the variable, its scope would be limited to that namespace only. It's not like the multiple namespaces can override each other's names. Let's take an example again and you can see it will be more clear to you. Okay, now here we'll be taking the example. Okay, now here 4 function calls are basically made and the functions are declared. Okay, now as soon as the function 1 is called, that is function 1 is called, it will print 50. Why? Because within the scope of the function x has a particular value, that is 50, and it would be printed. Now coming over to the function 2, as soon as you make the function the call to the function 2, it will try to print the value of x, but within its scope the x is not available. X is actually available globally to the program, but to access that you need a special keyword. So within the function 2, we will be coming to that in the next point only, but currently in the function 2 the x is not available, so this will lead to an error. Okay, now coming over to the function 3. Okay, in function 3 a parameter p is passed. Okay, now when the third function is called by the value 20, that is when p is supplied the value 20, then x is never assigned a value, so it will also lead to an error, because within the scope of the function f3 x never had a pre-value. Okay, so and it is and you are trying to print something which is not assigned ever, so it will lead to an error. Now when the fourth call is made and function 3 is supplied with the value 5, as the value of 5 is less than 10, then the x will be assigned a particular value and it will be printed, so it will not lead to an error. Okay, so as you can see, the namespace are bounded to their declaration only. So this is the example number, this is the example related to the point 3. Now coming over to the point 4, that is, if suppose you have declared something globally, how would you access that? For that you need to use the global keyword first. Okay, that is, something defined globally must be accessed by the global keyword. If you want a particular variable to be available to all the functions, then you need to use the word global. Like suppose here x is declared equals to 5, then a function is defined and x is given a value 2 and x is incremented by a value 1. Then again a function is defined and a global keyword is used and the value of x is incremented by 1, then the value of x is printed, that is print the value of x. Now a function call is made, then the value of x is printed, then again a function call is made and then the value of x is printed. You can see, first of all, as soon as you print the value x, the x will be printed, that is the x will have the value 5. Okay. Now when the second function call is made, that is the function 1 is called, okay, then the value that would be printed would be 3. Why? Because within the scope of the function x is given a value 2 and it is incremented by 1, and then the value of x is printed, that is the value, that value would be 3. Okay, now coming over to the function 2, as soon as you call the function 2, it will be accessing the global variable or x, not any other variable x. Okay, so 5 would be accessed, 5 would be incremented by 1 and the value that would be printed would be 6. Okay, so this is all about the scope rules that in this lecture we have discussed about the scope rules, and we have discussed the 4 important points. Okay, that is, names are bounded to their namespace. For accessing something globally you need to use the global keyword. Okay, the scope of the variable or the scope of the function is where it is declared. Okay, and the first point, the most important point of all the variables are treated in a similar manner. Okay, so this is all about the scopes in this lecture. We will be meeting in the next lecture and we will be discussing ahead the LEGB rules. Okay, yes, in the next lecture we will be discussing what are the LEGB rules and how it again affects the programming structure. Okay, so again, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you have liked the content, please support us. Okay, it is really motivating, and so then thank you for watching.